What's going on, guys? So I wanted to come at you and make a little update video on the MT09. So I bought it last April. That would be April of 2023. It's now May of 24. And since then I've put just over 6,000 miles on it. Let's look at that real quick. So 6,200 miles. And I wanted to go over a few things, just give kind of a, I guess, year or 5,000 mile update. Talk about some of the quirks I've noticed about the bike. Yeah, so first off, I'll start by talking about what I've done to it. Nothing big at all. I've done a TST fender eliminator, TST integrated tail light, TST front turn signals. It's got the more Mafia flash, pyramid, I guess you would call it windscreen, and seat cowl. And that is pretty much it. It's got these sliders, the frame sliders, and the passenger peg deletes. So I don't know if I've said it. I think I've said it. It's been tuned by more Mafia. I actually took him the bike, and it had, at that time, a Yoshimura full exhaust. The bike stock made 109, and when he was done tuning it, it made 113. And like he always says, keep in mind that's peak horsepower gains. So you're going to gain, more than that through some of the flat spots and other places in the mid RPM range. It seemed like it didn't really pick much up way up top, but anyways, so to touch on the flash real quick, you'll see now I have the stock pipe back on it. I was not a fan of how the Yoshi looked, so right now I have the stock pipe on it. I have not noticed any power difference. No difference at all, honestly, between the two. I am going to be buying the Aero high mount. So that is what is going on it. Hopefully I like that pipe a little bit more. And in regards to how the bike feels after the tune, to be honest, the only thing I really felt a difference in was the second gear. So if you've rode this bike on a bike like this, when you hit it in second gear, it's kind of, you can feel it. It's held back. So that's gone. It wheelies a lot easier in first, second, and third. And aside from that, I'll be honest, I didn't really feel much of a difference. The top speed governor's gone. So now the bike will run, on GPS verified about 144, 145. And I know a lot of people claim to have ran, 150, 155. I've not seen it on this bike. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't think it's likely. So a couple things I dislike about the bike after riding it, this long. The factory Battle Axe, it's a single compound, so you're going to wear the center out super fast. I had to change mine at about 1,800 miles. I had a track day in, but my rear tire was just shot. And at that time, I put another S22 on. And I think that lasted till about 4,000. So it got a lot more mileage out of it. And then I went over to the Michelin Road 6. And I'm pretty pleased with this tire. I don't want to say I'm crazy about it, but at the same time, it's definitely not gave me any issues. I really did like the way the S22 felt. It just wasn't the best in the longevity department. A couple other things. This is really my main gripe with the bike, and I think I've read this in a few other places, but the steering lock is so it's so short. I mean, you'll go to do a U-turn on, you know, a bike that pretty much any other bike will turn quicker than, not quicker, it'll turn sharper than this bike. It's a pig when it comes to U-turns, and, you know, then again, that can come down to skill, whatever you want to call it, but this is just for me. The steering lock is a big pain in the ass, and a lot of times it'll catch you off guard if you're not expecting it. So just something to take into consideration. Definitely not a deal breaker. The suspension's really, really good on the bike. I've rode it pretty much the way it came till about 500 miles ago, and I ended up going with the settings that were in the write-up for the Cycle World article on this bike. And I found it to be pretty good. I really like it. I don't see any need to change any suspension parts, at least in my you know, ability. I don't push the bike to where I need any differences. A steering stabilizer would definitely be a plus on this bike. I'll eventually do that. I just have not got around to doing that. And, you know, I by no means a professional. Just kind of a, you know, I enjoy riding bikes. On the track day, I noticed, you know, I didn't personally experience any brake fade or anything like that. I never found myself wanting more brakes, and this bike has stock pads, stock lines, everything's factory, stock rotors, obviously. And yeah, I was pretty pleased with it. I do think eventually I'll put the Brembos off the 24 onto this one, solely just for looks. Because honestly, I think if I wanted more, I could just put some pads on it and it would be fine with these stock calipers. But and I think that's really the only things I dislike about the bike. I've not had any issue. Well, I take that back. I have had the check engine light come on, you know, a couple of times for this O2 sensor. This seems to be a pretty common, you know, issue with this bike, but you ride it, it goes away. It's not the end of the world. You just can't change your settings, which is kind of annoying. And the only other nuisance I've had with this bike is the key. Right now it's really, really well lubed, so it's working really good. But and by the way, if you have this bike and you're running into the same issue, I found that PB Blast or dry lube is the best solution for that. The key you'll find is just super sticky, and you can kind of hear it there. I think it's more of a Yamaha thing because, you know, I've worked in a ton of shops. I've been around quite a few Yamahas. And it seems to be a pretty mainstream thing that their ignition switches are just super, super finicky. But, you know, this is really grasping at straws. There's not any huge issues that would turn me away from this bike. I've owned probably 20 bikes now, and this bike is definitely the best to ride. I really enjoy riding this bike. I will be hopefully buying a bike next summer. So probably going to go more of a super sport route. So if you've got any suggestions, feel free to put it down in the comments. But yeah, so I guess to sum things up, it's been 6,000 miles and the bike's been amazing. I've taken it on, you know, weekend trips all over the place, and it's never left me stranded. It's been a hoot to ride, turn off all the wheelie control, and it's really, really a fun bike. And for those of you, I'm sure most of you know, I hope most of you know this, but we'll start it up so I can show you. If you are wanting to get rid of all the traction control, you just click this mode button, go to TCS mode, and push that forward, and it'll turn it off. So when you do that, there will be no wheelie control, no slide control, nothing. Just for those of you who want to go out and, you know, be stupid, whatever. I find it's honestly the most pleasant to ride like that, at least for me. So I'll put it in TCS off, all that, and throttle mode 2, and it's really a blast to ride like that. So if you have any questions, just put them down in the comments. Like I said, for the money, I think this is an amazing bike. I don't think anything really competes to it. It's an awesome bike. I can't say enough good about it. So yeah, shoot some comments down below if you got any questions, and yeah, see you guys later.